Hallelujah. Come here, God. It's real easy for us to imagine that God is outside of us, someplace else. But our way shower, our master teacher, our brother on this path, Jesus, didn't see it that way. He was probably one of the first people that we know of that started teaching a different kind of way of looking at life. And it was quite an eye-opening experience to a lot of people. Speaking of eye-opening, I thought it would be good as we lead up to the time of Easter, when we lead up to this time of the attempt to destroy the Christ presence that occurred over 2,000 years ago, that we examine some of the teachings of Jesus, and leading up to that, because it's important that we kind of get a grasp, get a hold of them once again. So I turn to this portion of the scripture that we call the New Testament. And this is taken from Matthew. I really like Matthew because it's very concise. It has all the sayings of Jesus in one place. They're all in the Sermon on the Mount. And it has all of the miracles in one place. And it really is it's a well-organized group of writings about the life of this person. So here we are. We're on this mountain. And He's giving out these Beatitudes and so forth. Blessed are the this and that and the other. He does all that. Then he comes to a place where he's doing these teachings. Now, this was set up probably more as it's almost like a theatrical event. The writer takes them and says, okay, let's just take all these writings and let's put them together in a body and let's have it take place at one time. It makes it much easier to follow the story that way, and it gives a little bit of a picture. You can picture it in your mind very well, because that's what really is interesting about the New Testament writings, these Gospels. All four of them is that they are written in such a way that the listener or the reader can see pictures in your mind. You can see pictures. It's almost as though it's a movie about the story. So here's what he says about the eye. He says, why do you see the speck in your neighbor's eye, but you do not notice the log in your own eye? How can you say to your neighbor, let me take that speck out of your eye, while the log is in your own eye? You hypocrites! First take the log out of your own eye, and then you will see clearly to take the speck out of your neighbor's eye. It's pretty simple. Right on the surface, it's really simple to understand this. Anybody can get the idea that, well, you know, as long as I still have judgments going on. Oh, wait a minute. So as long as we have judgments going on about others, the first thing that we have to notice is that if I'm in a judging mode in my mind, then it's as though I have a large blockage to what's going on inside of me compared to what's going on inside of other people. Basically what he's saying here is that there is a larger problem for you if you're judging a little problem for somebody else. And so if you want to get to that place where you can help them with this speck in their own eye, as he's saying, from their judgment of the way they're seeing life, the best way to do it is first do a self-examination. Look around inside yourself and see if there's any big things that you need to get rid of. Now, from my own experience, trying to follow this, what usually happens is that something's going on that's annoying me in somebody else or irritating me in some place about it, and I feel like if I could just get them to change, then my life would be okay. Right? Don't we all have this feeling at times? Or we were in this position. This is a control issue that a lot of us have. And it's also an issue not only about control, but it's an issue about seeing people as things. It's about loving things and trying to change people. Change people to fit as though we were the director of the big picture of life, and that it's all about us and the way that we want to see it. So, what happens instead is that as we do this examination within that Jesus is talking about, and we start seeing ourselves, and we do an inventory of our life, what happens is we see that, oh, there's a lot of big things here that I need to look at and change. They're as though they aren't logs in my path. They're in my way. So if I remove them, then what happens about that speck in the other person's eye? Suddenly it's just not that big a deal. It's not that big a deal. It's very easy to let go of that once I have removed the obstacles to my own higher good. What happens is I no longer feel like I'm in charge of life. I'm no longer in charge of your life, and I'm no longer in charge of mine. And as a result, I can live and let live. I am freed from my experience of judgment. I'm freed from it. I no longer have to experience it because I suddenly put everything in order. You do, I do, we all put things in order in our lives. And the order, the hierarchy of it is God is first, running my life, running all of life, has a plan, has a whole purpose for everybody and everyone. Each one of the people that we see in our lives that have these little things that annoy us, they are our mirrors back to us to show us something about ourselves, to help us remove those larger blocks that keep us locked in a place where we cannot be who we truly are, which is connected to all oneness. We can't do it. We're stuck. We have a logjam going on. So that's why he's asking us to do this. Then right before that, he says something else about eyes. The eye is the lamp of the body. So if your eye is healthy, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eye is unhealthy, your whole body will be full of darkness. Then the light in you is darkness. How great is that darkness? Or as I was telling my daughter, we were talking about this morning, if you put it in modern vernacular, it would say, then if the light in you is darkness, well, how great is that darkness? How big is that? It's great. It's pretty big. And here's the reason. I got to thinking about the eye. It's a really neat thing in English because, you know, we can use it as I, E-Y-E. We can use it as I, as yes, like I and nay. We can also use that same sound as I, me, ego, I. We can do that. So it's really true. The I of who I am, is the light of my body. Not just my physical body, not just that, but it's also the I of my spiritual body, my consciousness. Now we think of eyes sometimes as always looking out. But are we always looking out? Sometimes don't we look in? Sometimes isn't it necessary for us to be looking within? So, the lamp is that thing which holds the light, is the receptacle for light. And you can see it in somebody's eyes. You can see the brightness in their eyes. You can see the dullness in their eyes when you're looking at them. You can sort of get a read on them as to what's going on inside their mind or inside their body or their attitude about life for that day. They're either in despair, they're in anger, they're in happiness, they're in bliss, they're in whatever they're in. You can see it in there because it sort of goes before them. It's the lamp. But it's also the thing that lights up and illumines them to be able to see what's going on inside themselves for each and every one of us. Without that, where are we? We're in the dark, of course. That's where we are. We're in the darkness. So if that which is leading us through life is a sense of this won't work, it always fails for me, I can't trust anyone, That's me. I messed it up there. If we see these things that way in our life, then everything that outpictures to us will be an expression of something we're holding within. So we have to use that light to be able to look within as well as to be able to outpicture into the world. Now, do we create that light in and of ourselves? I don't think so. I think it's an innate quality that each and every one of us have. It's given to us. It's given to us to be directed where we, through free will, want to direct it. So look at your life. See where it is. What habitually comes up for you, and where are you holding that light, and what path are you on? Are you on a path, and do you see everything in front of you as darkness that has to be lit up? Or do you see everything as light that can come within and help you discover those logs, those specks, whatever it might be, within you? This was a pretty smart psychologist. He was the great psychologist. He was a pretty smart person. He took things that are very complicated and very difficult to express in words, and he expressed them in ideas that everyone could understand so simply. They knew about logs. They knew what that was. They knew what a speck was. They knew all those things. They knew what a lamp was. They knew what a lamp was used for. And when they heard these stories, they could take them and apply them not only to their outer circumstances and their behaviors in life, but they could also apply them to a deeper understanding of who they truly are. And that's what he was really here for, was to awaken us to the light that exists within us if we choose to allow ourselves to see it. If we choose to allow ourselves to see it, it's something that we have a choice about. We have a choice, and that's what he's saying in there. If you decide that you always want to see things in a negative way, that's the way it will be for you. If you choose to stay in a state of fear, that's the way it'll show up for you in your life. If you decide to always see yourselves in a state of lack and want, that's the way it'll show up for you. If you want to see yourselves as less than, not whole, that's the way it'll show up for you. That'll show up for you in your life that way because you have prayed a silent prayer for this thing from God, from the universe. And the universe just says, oh, that's what you want? Okay. We can make that happen. We can make that happen. But if the light inside you is great, great spark of divinity within yourself, and you claim that, if you claim that divinity, then what happens for each one of us is that very thing. You want to be connected? We can connect you. We can connect you. Oh, you want to be disconnected and you want to think that things are bad? We can do that too. We can let that show up for you that way too. Because our pleasure, says God, is to give you the kingdom. Give you whatever it is that you say you want and need. So you decide. How is that lamp doing? How are your eyes? What are they focused on? Are they focused at all? Are they closed shut? Are they wide open? Are you able to see the life that exists in life? Or do you see darkness and despair? If you know someone who sees this, can you help them light their eyes so that they can see outwardly and inwardly the lights that is theirs to express? That's part of our job. That's part of why we're here. That's part of the assignment that we get from the great teacher. You know, this is a big classroom. And you can choose whether or not you want to take the same class over and over and over, or you can choose whether or not you want to graduate to the next and the next and the next. We are all teachers. We're all students. Every one of us in this. We're all lamp holders. We're all those which express the light for others to see. It's your choice. It's a wonderful thing to have the choice. Our master teacher was teaching us this. We have choice. We have freedom. We have control. We have mastery over all of life once we get to the point where we realize and claim the important thing, that the eyes that we have to see with and the mental or spiritual eyes that we have can view goodness or light or darkness and despair. Your choice. God bless.